Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Vlogmas. Today's video is going to be a video where I list out 20 plus Christmas gift ideas that you could crochet, and this is going to be larger projects, so this is ones you're going to have to put aside a little bit more time to get them done by Christmas. So I found all of these patterns on Pinterest. I'm hoping that a lot of them are free, but some of them might not be. I tend to find most of my patterns on Pinterest, to be honest. So I'm going to be looking at my phone to read off these patterns, and I will leave them linked down below if I can find links to the patterns or at least to the Pinterest pins so you can see some inspiration there. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let my cat in. I attempted to lock her out so that you didn't hear her meowing the whole time, but it just is making her meow even more. So let's see if I let her in, maybe she will calm down a little bit. She's purring and meowing apparently. If you don't already know, I have the most vocal cat in the world apparently. She just loves to talk, and when I'm talking she loves to talk even more. So see if maybe she'll sit on my lap and chill. Okay, I got my Pinterest board pulled up here. These are all longer Christmas gifts, so these are ones that I'm considering to be pretty large projects. You have to really love a person to make them, to put this time in to make these kind of projects. They take more thought, more time, in my opinion. These are the ones that I decided to pick. I don't think I'm gonna go in any specific order. Maybe I'll try to organize it a little bit. So let's start with wearables. So the classic, I feel like, wearable that I think of when it comes to winter is a sweater or a cardigan. So let's go through a couple of the ones that I found. So this first one here is called the oversized sweater, and it says free crochet pattern. It looks like it, I don't know if this is the person's name, but it's crocht.com, and I'll put it up on the screen right here so you guys can see which one I'm talking about. But this one here looks like it's made in fall colors, but you can make it in whatever colors you wanted to, but it looks pretty easy. It looks like a granny stitch, and I really like the neckline and how the sleeves kind of come in a little bit, but then it still kind of looks oversized and comfy, which is my favorite type of clothes to wear. So that is number one. Number two, I've never made one of these either, but this is a top-down raglan cardigan. I've heard a lot about the top-down raglans and things like that. I've never made this pattern before, but it looks really nice and it has sizes from extra small to 5X. And again, it looks like it has granny stitches in it and then some ribbing. Looks like it'd be pretty good to follow, it'd be pretty easy, but it would take a long time just because it's a large project, and depending on the size that you're making, it's going to change how long it takes as well. This one is by MJ's Off the Hook Designs. This next one is similar to the first one I made, or not that I made, the first one that I showed you, but I don't know if it's the exact same or not. It's a different pattern, so maybe if one isn't free or whatnot, or one it doesn't make sense, so you could try the other one. But this one is also a sweater that looks like it's granny square with some ribbing around the neckline and cuffed sleeves. This is the Gertie sweater crochet pattern by Holly Woodward Designs. And this one is made in more pastel colors in the picture, but obviously you can pick whatever colors you want. But I like how this one looks too. And the striping is a little bit different on this one compared to the other one. So, and it doesn't look maybe as much oversized as the first one, so they're a little bit different. This one I've had in, I feel multiple of my crochet Pinterest boards, because I have different categories of crochet stuff on my Pinterest, and I honestly need to organize it because I feel I have a lot of duplicates and there's things everywhere. But this one specifically I really want to make. It is the Cozy Granny Square cardigan, and I honestly like the colors in here, but I'd like to mess around with what other color palettes you could do with this. This one is by, I actually don't know, let me check. It actually doesn't have the name of the person, but it says myfavoritepatterns.com. I don't know who this pattern is by. Maybe when I go to find the pattern for you, I will be able to figure out, and I'll put it in the description. But this one looks really nice. It's just made out of a bunch of granny squares, and then they get sewn together, and then it looks like you put some ribbing, a border around it, some buttonholes, and some ribbing on the bottom. And it just looks very professional. It looks like something you would buy out of the store, and it's something that I feel would be a good gift to make if you have the time to make it. This next one you may say isn't good for the season, but because it has flowers on it. But I think it's, I don't know, is there a season that you can't wear flowers? I think flowers can be worn all the time. But anyways, this one is a cardigan. It is the Cozy Days Daisy cardigan. Why is that a mouthful for me to say? And this one is by All About Ami, I think is what their thing is called. But it has daisy granny squares, and it looks like it doesn't have a picture of how it's put together on the cover, as you can see, but it looks like it's a bunch of granny squares, again, kind of put together, and then a border. So it would take time, but it might not be like super hard to assemble and everything. So this would be a good one for a family member. Okay, we have another cardigan next. This is a free crochet pattern. It is called the Free Crochet Cardigan. Oh wait, actually no, it's called the Delaney Velvet Crochet Cardigan. I really like how this one looks, and the only thing that I feel like I'd want differently about this one is maybe to add some pockets, but that might be something you could probably figure out, just making like a square rectangle and sewing it on. But it looks super cozy. It's made out of velvet yarn, so I almost dropped my phone, so it would be pretty comfortable and probably pretty warm too. But I really love the color of this one. It's in a pink color, but you could make it in any color, obviously, that you can find a velvet yarn in. Be a nice cozy winter cardigan. This next one is more of a cropped sweater. I don't believe that this crochet pattern is free, but it is beautiful. The detailing on it is beautiful, which makes me think it might take a little bit longer. I'm actually not super familiar with what the stitches are. Like, just looking at it, I can't really tell exactly what's going on, but it's kind of like this wavy type pattern, and it's very pretty. And I think it's called Seasons Change Sweater. And yes, it might be a little bit more fall, but again, like, just because you give something to someone on Christmas doesn't mean they can only wear it in the winter. They can wear it whenever. And I think this would be, like, I really like the color scheme that she made for this exact picture, but this is another one. You could obviously change the colors to whatever the person you're giving it to, or whoever you were giving it to, likes. Okay, I think that is all for like the sweaters and cardigans, sweatshirts, all those kind of things. Wearables, but I do have one other wearable in here that I feel like might take a little bit of time. Some people may argue that this isn't a long project, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it might take a long time, maybe not, but I'm putting it in this video anyways. But this one is slippers. So these are Chukka slippers on flip-flop soles. I've never heard of this concept, but I was like, that is so smart, because I always wonder, like, if you make slippers, I've had a hard time finding a good slipper crochet pattern. My friend even asked me for any good ones, and I feel like it's so hard to find them, but I always wonder how like sturdy they are. Like, how do you make them sturdy and comfortable? And I feel like this is such a good idea to crochet the slippers into the flip-flops. Like, how genius is that? I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but I feel like this is a good idea. And this pattern is by Jess Copham, I think is how you say her name. But these are the Chukka slippers on flip-flop soles pattern, and I'm considering trying to make these. I don't know, but they look pretty nice. Now into the kind of accessories type category, I guess, basically bags, because I feel like bags can take a while to make, in my opinion at least. All this is my opinion if you haven't noticed already. But the first bag that I really like is this gingham tote bag. I just think it is so pretty, and I'm sure it takes a while because there's color changes throughout, and to make it look like how to make it look good with all those color changes, I'm sure it takes a while, but it is so beautiful, and the options are endless with different color combinations that you could do. But I really like the kind of faded look that they do here, where they have kind of like a cream white and then 2 shades of green. I just think it looks so good. And I'm just thinking of all the different color combinations that you could do for whatever color the person you're gifting it to likes. The next pattern idea that I have is this wave market bag. This is by Hook Heart Home, I think is what the pattern who it's by. I'm so sorry if I'm getting some of these wrong. Like I said, I'm going to link them down below and try to put like the person who made the pattern's name with it. Hopefully there'll at least be a link to their pattern somewhere, hopefully. But this one is a cool one. It's different than what I've seen before, like the traditional like mesh market bags that I've seen and things like that. This one again has like, it's named a wave pattern in it, and it's really pretty, and I feel like it would be something that someone could actually use. Like obviously don't give it to somebody that isn't going to ever use it, but if you know somebody that likes to go to markets, or like even taking it to like the grocery store to bag stuff in. I know some certain stores around me don't give out bags, or they're trying to like cut back on how much plastic bags they're handing out for free and whatnot. So this would be a nice one to give someone that they could just kind of throw their stuff in, you know, their produce or whatever. And again, you can make it in whatever colors you want. I think that is all I have for the bags, but I have a couple blanket patterns that I want to go through next, because blankets are definitely a longer project. There are some patterns that take less time, and depending on how thick of yarn you use and hook size, that'll obviously change how long the project takes. But these are some of the ones that caught my eye when I was looking through Pinterest for ideas for this video. These are the ones that I was like, oh, those are either unique or pretty or whatnot. So the first one that I have is this pinstripe crochet blanket. It looks like it's made in like a soft yarn, like a Chanel yarn or like a blanket yarn. So it probably would work up faster than obviously a blanket made with like a thinner yarn like acrylic, but looks very comfy, and I like that it's not like just block stripes. I like the pinstripe where it's just one stripe of color in between another color. I just think it looks very pretty, and I can't tell exactly what the stitch is, but it almost looks like some sort of like bobble stitch, but again, it's hard to tell. But it looks a little bit different than just like a normal flat laying stitch. So I like that it has that kind of texture to it. This next one caught my eye because although I'm still putting it in the large project category, it says that it only takes 4 hours to make, and it just says free crochet blanket. Let me see if it actually has a name if I click on it. So I guess a little bit misleading. It didn't say it was for a baby in the picture, but it says 4-hour crochet baby boy blanket. But I'm sure you could take the pattern of the blanket and obviously make it bigger, whether you're making it for a baby, child, or an adult. But I like the texture of this blanket. It looks like it's made in a chunkier yarn, and it has like a striping pattern to it. I'm sure you can make it all in one color or 2 colors, or stripe it with 3 colors like they did, and you could adjust the size as you want. But blankets, large gift because it's expensive for the material, and it usually takes a lot of your time. This next one is a crochet red gingham blanket. Obviously red's in the name, but you could make it in whatever color, and I don't know why I'm just loving this gingham right now, and I feel like that pattern has like come in and out of popularity. Like I remember a time when I was in maybe like high school that gingham got really popular again, but I feel like it's in and out. But I think right now I'm like really drawn to it for some reason. It's just very satisfying to look at. I have a feeling this one would take a little bit more effort, and it looks like they use like a thinner yarn. It honestly looks a little bit like a cotton or an acrylic yarn. I'm not positive, but I love what they did with this one because they took 2 colors, and then for like the pattern, or for the square that is supposed to be in between the colors, they actually mixed the 2 colors to make that effect, and I love that. I think it looks really pretty and is such a good idea. You could keep it with the red to be more Christmassy, or you could change it up and make it whatever color that you want to. Here's another fun patterned blanket. Next we have a chevron pattern, which I also feel like chevron has gone through phases of like popularity and things like that, but this one I think is really cute. And honestly, when I look at the picture, I see like a shower curtain for some reason, but I think it's just the way that they hung it in the one picture. But it's very pretty, and I feel like you could make like a small one again, like for a little girl, like with the colors that they used here, like a little girl blanket, or you can make a bigger one if somebody wanted this. But this is by Daisy Farm Crafts, which I've used a couple of their patterns and I've had good luck with them. And it's called Crochet Front Loop Chevron Blanket. It's very pretty. I've never made a chevron pattern, but it looks very pretty. I think this is the last blanket that I have for you guys, but this is the Winter Throw, and this is by Mama in a Stitch Knitting and Crochet. Mama in a Stitch, I think is the name, and then it's knitting and crochet patterns. But I like this one because I'm sure it's optional, but they added tassels on the corner, which I thought that was fun. And this one looks very soft, very comfortable, and it has cool textures to it. Like, it's not just one ongoing stitch, it has different stitches throughout, which is going to give it more character, more texture to it, like I already said. And I just find that to be like a little bit more fun. Like, if you have the time to do something a little more detailed like that, then it makes it look a lot more professional and like you bought it from the store, even though you put more money into it than you probably pay for it at the store and time, but it's for the people you love. Okay, this one here is going in like a miscellaneous category because I know where to put it. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, and this one specifically might not take that long, but just the idea of making some sort of like game. It could be like for your family to play together or for like a kid or whatever, but this one here is a tic-tac-toe game board, and I was like, oh, that is such a smart idea. I don't know why I never thought of making a game board out of crochet, but that is very interesting. I've seen like baby toys and like dog toys and things like that, but I never thought of making like a board game. So this is cool because they made like the tic-tac-toe board and then the different pieces that you could put on the board. So that is a neat idea. And then when I clicked on that, I went down like a rabbit hole, and there was like a bunch of other different things. Like, they have little car mats, like, you know, those little race car mats. Some people have crocheted those. They have matching games. They have Rubik's cubes, or not Rubik's cubes, dice. And I don't know if you could crochet a Rubik's cube, but they have dice and like things like that. So I think it's really cool, and that'd be like a cool concept in general. The next category is kind of like home decor and items you can use, I guess. Like, I don't know, let's just get into it. So the first one I have here is a crochet floor basket. I always think these look so good, and they always look like professional, because a lot of times you will go into a store and see like a basket that looks like it's crocheted or like out of like yarn material, you know what I mean? Like, you go into a store and people are buying these in the store, but you could make one with your hands and some fiber. That is pretty cool. Some yarn. I don't know why I said fiber, but whatever. But yeah, like, just think of this, if you made it in the colors that the person's like home matches, it could be a cute little addition to like their living room or their bedroom, to throw like dog toys in, children's toys in, blankets in, like just a little like throw basket that you could put whatever you want to in. On the same concept of that, I also found a two-toned nesting basket, so it's like a different sizes that go into each other. So I thought that was really cute. It looks like they have 3 different sizes, and they have little handles on them. And this is by MJ's Off the Hook Designs, which I've seen them around a little bit on Pinterest, and I believe that these look like 2 different like stitch patterns too. So these are 2 different options that you could use. The handle's a little bit different on them too, but they're both beautiful patterns. This next one is a crochet tray, which I had a couple thoughts with this, because it could just be like a decorative tray that you put like in the center of your table or like on your counter, and you could put like fruit in. Or I was kind of wondering if you made it, depending on what the pattern calls for, but thinking if you made it out of like a cotton yarn rather than acrylic, if it could kind of be used as like a hot plate, but for a casserole dish. Like, if you could adjust the size, if you could put like a casserole dish in it so that it doesn't burn the table, and then also like if you have it on the table and you're serving from it, you're less likely to touch the sides and burn yourself on it. That was a kind of a thought that I had, which you could use it either way, more like decorative or to hold things on your counter, or more like functional as some sort of casserole hot plate type of thing. But either way, this looks like it actually would be pretty easy to make. Like, it might not be a super long time to make it. I don't know, I just put it in this category. The next one that I found is this boho crochet table runner, and this is made by Goody, I think is how you say it. But this is a very beautiful stitch. Like, I don't even know what this stitch is, but it's very beautiful. And I was kind of thinking you could adjust it for table size with how long it is, and there are tassels on each side. This honestly looks like it was bought straight out of a store, and it looks beautiful. And I feel like a table runner could be just a nice like piece of decor to add on somewhere. And I'm actually considering like maybe I need to make one for myself, because I feel like that would be nice, because you could customize it to the size of the table. Whereas when you go to the store and you get a table runner, they're kind of, you know, a set size, and it doesn't always fit your table size. I think this is the last pattern, but this is a crocheted casserole carrier. This is really cool. This is a really cool concept. This is definitely more of an advanced type project, not in the fact of the matter of the stitch, but just imagining in like assembling the increases and decreases of the stitch and making like the actual pattern of it. There's also like either magnetic or clasp buttons that are put on there. They're metal buttons that go together, and dowel rods. But this probably takes a long time to make, I would assume. But this is such a good idea, and this is something that I feel like is actually pretty useful. Like when people are going to picnics and whatnot, they could, you know, like when your family all brings a food or whatnot, or to the holidays like Christmas, everyone bringing a food, you could just put your casserole dish in there, button it up, and just, it's nice and sturdy. Like it has supports on both sides, and it would just make it super easy to just carry your casserole dish, and it's handmade. Those are all of the larger crochet gift project ideas that I have for Christmas. Just keep in mind that you want to try not to give people things that they're not going to use or they're not going to appreciate. So honestly, one thing that I do, maybe it spoils the gift, but I will personally ask people like, what would you like crocheted for Christmas? Or do you want a crocheted gift for Christmas? Some people don't want a crocheted gift. They would rather you like buy something for them or don't get them anything at all because they know they're not going to use it. So don't put all your time into it, especially projects like this, if you know that the person isn't going to use it or love it. So I would definitely recommend asking them like, what do they want? Or before you make it, like, are you interested in something like this? And what colors would you like? Like maybe even let them pick out the yarn colors, just so you know that they're really going to love it, because even though you're kind of like spoiling what they're getting for Christmas, you're not really, because they're not going to see the finished product until you give it to them, and it just means a lot when they know like you put the time into it. But I hope you guys got some good ideas from this video, and stay tuned for my medium projects and my quick project videos that will be coming soon this month. I hope you guys are enjoying Vlogmas so far. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and comment down below what other ideas you have for longer Christmas gifts, or even any of the gifts that you're making for Christmas this year. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into making sure that I stick to my daily posting for Vlogmas, so I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button down below and continue to follow along with this Vlogmas series. If you guys do decide to stick around and subscribe, then I will see you in my next video. Bye! My cat finally fell asleep.